All right, guys, welcome back to part 12. And then those of you have been following me up to this point with the Bugatti Bolide, probably you've been waiting for to do part 12. I'm gonna be honest with you, even though I have the pictures here, I've been kind of trying to work out how to create this surface. I tried a few ways, but then I realized that it's a straight surface and then straight here, and then there's a draft towards the center of the car here. And so basically, I tried other ways. So the way we have it here, it's not really what we are aimed to accomplish. So we're going to attack this whole area here in a different way. So to do that, so let's do that. Let's go to future tree here. And then we're going to delete everything all the way up. We're going to leave the surface net here, 13 here, that's which you have. And then we're going to delete everything up to surface boundary surface 17. So delete those. Yes to all. Continue, ignore error. And then we're going to delete this one here. Close that. And we're going to delete 75 and 74 sketch. Delete that. Close. And we're going to delete these two here as well. And then we're going to delete these two. And then we're going to delete this line here. Okay, and all we have left is 3D sketch 66. So that's a 2 dot there. So leave that. So let's make sure that that shows. We're going to need those 2 dots there for sure. So that's staying. All right, so let's attack this whole surface area here, because what we done here, that wasn't the right one here. So let's do that. Let's jump into our first display state here. And then we're going to hide this here, 3D spline here. I'm going to hide it, not delete it. All right. And then we're going to make a first sketch on the front plane. No more to profile. And of course, we're going to drop a blue glass on this whole thing here. And then we're going to have a look at the picture, what we're going to sketch first. So the first sketch we're going to do is going to be from here all the way here. So basically this line down here, which actually drops in towards the center. So that's going to be the first line that we're going to create. Is going to be a sketch on sketch projection. And then the second one is going to be from this point here all the way here, and then with a break and an angle. All right, that goes towards that. Of course, it up here it will drop towards the center, and then here will drop towards a little bit, drafting towards the center as well. But you will see when we get to that one. All right, so let's create this first, this 3D sketch and sketch projection first. So let's come in here. And what we're going to do is we're going to start here. The sketch, the first sketch is just it's not a 3D sketch. It's a simple sketch on the front plane. All right, and then we're just going to start from here, because first we're going to create the flat surfaces, and then we're going to add our fillets onto those corners. Okay, so let's grab a spline here and then start from somewhere about here in this area, somewhere up here, because obviously it curves under that. It curves way below that. As you can see, it curves underneath this area here. So let's start from this corner, right? And then it goes around here, right? And it's somewhere about here. All right. Okay. So first escape on your keyboard, and then let's click on this line and just move this line into position. All right. So we're going after this line here. Somewhere here, there. A little bit pulling towards here. We don't want to go too far out of the surface. We want to leave some room for the other surface as well. And we want to create a nice wheel arch on here. All right, so that's that one. And then let's grab a line, and let's go from here. So we're not going to go perpendicular parallel with this line here. We're going to come a little bit upwards, just a tiny bit, somewhere about here, and we're going to pull it out all the way up to here. All right, press escape on your keyboard. All right, so that completes the first sketch. Okay, and then let's add another line from here to here, just something like that. Okay, exit the sketch. Okay, and exit this sketch here. So that's the first one. And then because, let's have a look here. Because we're creating this sketch first, we're going to, when we make our second sketch from the top view, we're going to take into consideration the starting point, which is much closer to this edge than this edge. So when we make that line, so the second line we're going to create, so for this sketch, for this 3D projection, obviously we need to make this line here. So we're going to take into consideration the draft that this has that curves towards the middle, right, towards the center of the vehicle. It's not much, it's really minimal. So let's focus on that. All right, so second sketch we're going to create is going to be on the top plane, normal to profile. And then let's just highlight this edge here. I just want to highlight this one edge here, not the whole thing, but that's fine. And highlight that one, press space bar on your keyboard so the highlight stays. So that's the line here, that's upper line here. So that's what we're going for, right? Okay, so let's start with a spline. And then of course that's that's actually the wheel, and the tire is comes out to about here. So it's the same thing on this side. The tire comes out to about here, and that's the wheel. So if the tires is somewhere about here, then our wheel arch is going to start somewhere about here, right? And it's a bit inside this, so it's kind of shows the wheel a little bit. So we're gonna start all the way from back here. Maybe if we start all the way from here, from this point, right? Okay, and then come on, why is it not registering our sketch here? Let's exit this one. All right, let's start a new one. Sketch on the top plane. All right, and then spline, and then we're gonna start all the way from back here. All right. All right, and then that should be our surface that we're going for. So we're going to drop this spline somewhere about here. Press escape, and then let's click on this edge here and press a space bar on the keyboard. So now we can see how far we need to pull that. So it's here somewhere, right? So it's right here. Okay, and on this side we're going to pull this straight. because on the picture we can see that it's a straight surface kind of on this side. So I'm going to keep that as straight as possible. All right, and then we're just gonna have to work with this area here. Of course, we want this edge here, spacebar, and then we're just going to pull this line a bit inwards towards like that, and pull this line out towards like that. And let's grab that center line again over there and press spacebar. So we're almost on target on that one. And that looks pretty good over here as well, all the way throughout. And then we're just going to pull this in a little bit. So it starts from not exactly on that edge. So let's click on the edge there and get to the top. So exactly how we wanted it. So it's not exactly on that edge, but a little bit in, right? So that's our first. That's going to be our first 3D spline here. So exit the sketch. All right, and then let's click on project curve, and let's do sketch on sketch. So this sketch and this sketch here, and press OK. And that's created a beautiful sketch for us over here. All right, so let's jump into our second display state here and hide this small plane that we created way before. We're not going to need that, of course. So that's going to be our first sketch. All right, and then let's have a look at the picture here. What's the second one? So the second one is going to be this one here, this other one with the break here and with the draft that we will take into consideration. Okay, so let's jump back into our first display state, and then let's hide the small tiny plane from here as well. That's just in the way. Like that. Okay, good. All right, so let's make a sketch on the front plane, normal to profile. So we're going to start all the way from back here. So let's grab the spline, and let's go from all the way from back here, and then we're going to follow that line, and then that line is going to break somewhere about here, and then it will draft down onto here. All right, so let's drop that line somewhere about here. Okay, press escape and pull this line into position. So let's follow the line as much as possible. Something like that. So basically what we're looking for is the space between these two. As we can see in the picture, that's the space here. So we have a very small space between this area here and it's starting to come out, and this area here, and then where the space we are looking for is this space here. Okay, and we're almost spot on with that space there. So we're just going to pull out a little bit, and this space here is exactly how we have over there. All right, so the next sketch is going to be our break point, which is going to be here. So let's grab another spline and make the spline that falls out to about here, right? So we're gonna have a nice drafting downwards sketch on that one. So let's have a look at the picture here. So if you can see the picture, and then this area here, this angle that falls down is a little bit steeper than this area here. So let's go back on here, and then we can see that we can make that a little bit steeper, just like that. Okay, so our breakpoint is right on target with that one. Okay, and we don't need to add a profile on this one since the second sketch will create that profile, and of course that will adjust itself. Okay, so that's the first sketch. Exit here, and to make our life easier, what we're going to do is we're going to jump back into the future tree and bring up our first sketch, and then we're going to bring back our sketch 74 and make that show, and then we're going to create a sketch on the top plane and normal to profile. And what we're going to do is just simply do an offset of this curvature here, and we're going to do a number 2mm offset on that one. And that offset should be enough to create that little bit of draft that is on the upper section here. All right, so we can hide this sketch here because that's what we're going to use. Okay, exit the sketch. Right, and again, we're just going to do a sketch on sketch projection with these two. All right, that's perfect. And then now let's have a look at these two 3D sketches. All right, so we are already looking a lot better with these surfaces here, and then with these 2 points as well. All right, so obviously the next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab a 3D sketch, a 3D spline, and we're going to come from this point onto this edge here, which we can adjust when we jump back into our first display state, and just click on the top plane and normal to profile, or you press the space bar, which brings up the box. So let's adjust this line here. So our breakpoint is here, so we want to leave enough space for that breakpoint to show for us good. All right, and then we're just going to create a nice curvature on this one here, and then we're just going to adjust that curvature from the front as well. So that's our point here. We can just pull it up a little bit up to here, and our breakpoint is over here, and our curvature is going to start from here, right? Okay, so let's add our profile back to this curvature from this angle here, and our breakpoint is still here, and we can just bring it up a little bit, and our breakpoint is right over there, and then that's over here. All right, so let's have a look at from the side. And we're looking good from the side, and now let's have a look at it from the top. And we just need to fix it up from the top here. So nice, add a nice curvature on that one. Okay, so that looks good. So that completes all that curvature there. And now, of course, we're going to create our second one, which will come to the breakpoint. So also it's going to be an individual, separate, standalone 3D sketch. So 3D spline, and we're going to come from that point. Actually, we did not get on that point. So 3D sketch, and we're gonna come from this point up to this breakpoint over here, right? We can come we can click actually further down the breakpoint and just pull it up to the breakpoint, and that way we have a coincident edge with that connection. All right, exit that one, and then now all it's left to do is we have to adjust that curvature on that one. So and yeah, sorry, the TV. I forget to turn the TV off. All right, so let's pull this curvature into similar to that one. Right, so that will create a nice surface area for us. And now let's fix it up from the front. And we're going to add a nice curvature on that one from this side. Okay, and let's have a look at from the side. And we're just gonna pull that, make that. Somewhat similar to the other one. Okay, like that looks good. All right, and we're going to add another 3D sketch, different 3D sketch, of course. So make sure you exit every time if it needs to. You exit from the previous 3D sketch and you make a new one. So from this point to this point here, and then let's press spacebar to get into this view, and we're going to add this small curvature, a little bit profile, something like that. Okay, exit this sketch here. All right, so that looks good. We're gonna leave that for now, and the next sketch is going to be another 3D sketch. So 3D spline, and we're gonna come from this point down to this line here, and we're gonna bring up our first display state to see better. Click on this point, and again you can use spacebar or this one, and then we're just going to pull this into this direction, and we're going to give this a little bit of profile from this side as well. So that's completely spot on with that curvature. Okay, so that's good. And then exit the sketch. Okay, so that completes that. So let's jump back into our second display state here. And now what we're going to do, now that we have our major scaffoldings on this one, we're going to jump into our 3D sketch, and then we're going to come all the way around on these areas here. All right, but first let's create this connection here. So let's go from here to here. Of course, we will cut back on this one because it's not going to be that big. So let's just pull this one all the way until the end of that one, and pull this all the way to the end of that one. And then we're just gonna jump into the back here, and then of course we're going to give this a tiny profile. All right. So that's good. Okay, and I'm not going to press escape. I'm going to keep going with our 3D sketches, and we're going to draw all the way around where there's no 3D sketches. So we're going to start from here, and we're just going to stay on this line here. All right, so make sure you stay on that line. Okay, and then grab another spline. So this will give us the ability to create our fill surface. To that corner, exit, and another spline going all the way around this one here. And all the way down to this corner here. Okay, exit that one, and grab another spline and just connect these 2 points here. Exit that one. And we're going to exit this sketch here, and then we're going to click anywhere. So we're going to jump all the way to the fill surface here, and all we have to choose is select is this line here, and that will create this beautiful surface for us. And press OK on that one. Okay, so that's a good surface for us. And then the next surface is going to be this surface here. So let's go to fill surface and select this line. But first, let's hide these 3D sketches here. So hide this one and hide this one here. Okay, so that edge here is clean. So basically, we want this edge to be clean in order to not have any issue when we're adding our fillets, right? So let's select this line, this line, this line, and the edge, right? And that's created the surface for us. Okay, and then we can connect these 2 surfaces together. Okay, so that creates that surface. All right, so let's have a look at here. So that's a good looking surface, and then once we add our fillets here, it's going to be either a fillet, right? We're going to add this fillet here, and then in the next tutorial. All right, so once we add that fillet on this side, and then we're gonna create these lower surfaces here. So that's a much better looking surface and a much better way of approaching and attacking these areas here than we previously did. All right, so let's mirror this over to the other side just to see, and we will take out that mirror afterwards. But for now, I just want to mirror over, and then of course bodies to mirror, and then we're going to mirror all this over to the other end. Okay. All right, so I'm going to leave this tutorial at here at this point, and in the next tutorial, which I'm going to do after this one, it's going to come up quite quickly, probably today as well. But this one, I'm going to leave it here, and I'm going to see you back in the next tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel. It helps a lot to me. All right, thanks very much. Bye-bye.